Hey everyone, how are you? How are you? We're gonna have such a great day today, and we're just getting ramped up for our first faculty member who's going to be speaking to you. I am so thrilled to be introducing you to Patricia Maddalena today, who is joining us from Wales. And before you say anything, Patricia, I want to introduce you. I want to tell you about her a little bit. I want you to understand who we're dealing with here. She is an NLP master, trainer, integration therapist. She's a best-selling author. But here's what I love about her. You know, we've all got our stuff. She works with children, which I love, and she works with pregnant moms. So she has a program called Lush Tums, where she works with pregnant mothers and with yoga, meditation, mindfulness, all of that. But she didn't want to stop there. So she's also got a whole program for children with another program that she's got called Wiggle Bums. So Lush Tums and Wiggle Bums. I love that. Anyway, so she is bringing her beautiful programs into IAUSM and her amazing energy with us as well. So Patricia, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Aisha. Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm shouting.
Okay, I'm probably doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Patricia Maddalena from your perspective.
So I am one of four, 2 boys and 2 girls, Irish Italian mix, born awake. In fact, my sister who created Lush Tums and then Wiggle Bums, and we work side by side together, and my 2 brothers, we were all born awake, very conscious, and as such, I suppose for me personally, my kind of ego took quite a battering over the years, I think, to let more light in. And then so went on this massive learning, had a near-death experience which brought forth clarity and a life purpose for me. So I've been on that for 20 years. I'm a therapist. I trained as a therapist, NLP and integration therapist. I work with the fragmentation element, so the fragmented parts of the soul, and bring that back on board. And as such, working with the adults, I'm firefighting. And me and my sister, we sat down and we were like, there's got to be a way that we can start making a difference before, people need our help. And so we devised Lush Tums and we devised Wiggle Bums, which is packed full of mindfulness and all that kind of NLP juice, as well as the ancient art of yoga and all of that jazz, really, so that we can help instill like a positive way of parenting, like a conscious way of parenting and being with our kids. And they come in, don't they? They come in like they're lights, they're absolute lights. So as a light shines, they shine up all our shadow parts, don't they? So they trigger us. Yes. And then if we're an unconscious parent, we can then blame the child, but actually they're the biggest teachers, they're the biggest guides. And so that light shines on our shadow self, and that's the bit that needs the healing and leaning into and clearing. So we're there. Yes, we have these fun classes. Yes, it's full of yoga and community and connection, but it also is a therapeutic side of it, so that the parents can then look at themselves and heal those parts, or just love those parts a little bit more. That's me, really.
So you said something there, and I've done a lot of interviewing through the years. So I always try to listen with the ears of the attendees, the people who are listening, and maybe bringing some clarity to some of the things that you said. So one of those things that you said was, I was born awake. And a lot of the kids these days, I think, in this new evolutionary part of our evolution that we're a part of, are also born awake. And parents may not know what that actually means. Mm-hmm. And, we can't raise our children anymore the way that we were raised. It's just simply not going to work.
They won't allow us. They've come in as probably most of us know, they come in with like food intolerances and allergies, and their minds are so turned on that we start labeling them because we can't keep up with their minds, basically, and their emotions and their energy. You know, they've come in cranked up, superhuman, if you like. They've come in as sovereign selves. And so to parent that is really challenging if you're going to try and do it in a 3D way. You've got to kind of up level the way you are personally, and then you can share that with the children. So they come in with their little light, well, their huge light, and then it's up to us to kind of up level ourselves, which is great, which is one of the reasons why IAUSM is here, because there's you've attracted so many amazing teachers from right across the planet, that there will be someone for you. When you have a little look through us all, there'll be someone that you're attracted to that will help you up level your game a little bit more. But yeah, the children have come in now with a whole new level. They're like super.
Well, what would you think about, now you said that, and the very first thing that sort of jumped into my head was, the labels, ADD, ADHD, all these things that we kind of have heard a lot, because I never heard of any of those things when I was a kid. Like that just didn't exist when I was young. And so now we're medicating kids. So we're not going to diagnose and do it. So, but generally speaking, what do you think about that?
So, I mean, I've got ADHD. So I tend to have like 4 computer screens up. I run 3 businesses. I'm a mum of 3 kids, with 3 kids and 2 stepkids. And, ditch the labels, really. It's because I can do all of those things and meet people on a physical, mental and emotional and spiritual level. If you try to put me in a post office situation or an office situation and just gave me one thing to do, I would want to stab my own eyes out. I would be just like, I would be, that's just not. So we really do need to we need to change the way we teach. We need to change the way that we behave and the way that we are with our children, because they're bringing in so much new ways of being. Even, I mean, everything's got to shift and change. Even the way we educate in school, which was designed to kind of move you into factory work and industrialization, even that's shifting and changing. It has to shift and change because those jobs don't exist anymore. We're kind of more entrepreneurial, really. We're kind of tapping into what our dharma is. The children are coming in knowing what turns them on, what makes their soul sing, and that's what they want to do. So don't try and stick someone like me in a really boring geography class, because that's not going to help. I'm not going to do it. I'm all 4 dimension, I'm on every single level. So we've got to find a new way of teaching. We've got to find a new way of educating. We've got to find a new way of our language. And that's all the kind of subjects that I bring to IAUSM, really, with the different courses that we've got going on there. It's the physical, it's the mental, it's the emotional, it's how to speak so that our children will listen, and how to listen so that our children will talk to us. It's all of those levels, because that idea of separation and fragmentation is an old school paradigm, and it's happening really massively right now.
And suppression, I think it's suppressing, trying to stick us into a box that we've been in for so long, and the box is tearing apart. Like it can't contain us anymore.
No, it can't. And in fact, our children are being born and coming in, and they're not even in the box, they're like outside of the box, they're like so out of the box, which is it's challenging for most parents, because we want this neat little world. We want to be able to go A, B, C equals D, but that's not what's happening. It's really zhuzhing up the way we are for ourselves and for our children and for the collective. I mean, this is the Great Awakening, isn't it? And our children are wakening us up to our true potential. It's whether or not we have the eyes to see that or the ears to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, if you were going to ask me, I would say that as parents, I mean, I'm not even a parent. I have a dog. So, but I'm, just watching, I would say, don't just try to teach your children, but learn from them, because they have so much to teach, probably more so than you have to teach them. They have to teach you, because we're part of this crazy change that's going on.
Absolutely. And we've got this. So my big boy, Loki, his name is, he's now 19, he's nearly 20. He came in and he's a firecracker. And it's like, if I'd have stopped him, I learnt my lessons quite early on with him. So if I tried to stop him before he had actioned what he wanted to action, I would have just seen this naughty little boy that was causing havoc. But learning to step back and watch him navigate the thing that he was doing all the way to fruition, and allowing that space, then I can see this care. He was actually trying to find something for his brother, to help his brother do X, Y, or Z. But if I'd have stopped him midway whilst he was tearing the cupboard apart, I would have just seen him tearing the cupboard apart. But actually stepping back and allowing him, he was preempting something. I'm just thinking of a particular situation, and he was grabbing something for his big brother. But it's our programming, our limited beliefs on what we perceive another to be doing, that's what we're projecting onto our children. And then the children are taking that on board, like, I'm the lazy one, or I'm the bully of the family, or they're the labels. That's the inner critic that they have then as they grow into life. And so what we're offering, I suppose, with Lush Tums and Wiggle Bums is a new language, is a new way of looking at our children, is stepping back really and actually doing less. Less is more, and allowing them that space rather than helicopter parenting, stepping back and being who they are. And also one of the major kind of presuppositions or core beliefs that we
Just one
have.
second. I'm going to interrupt you just for 1 second, just so I don't lose this one question. Guys,
Yeah.
there's a question in the chat here. I'm just going to grab it from Melinda. It says, do you think it is also that these children coming in are really connected to truth and don't receive the misinformation propaganda at all?
Absolutely, because I can relate to the children that I work with, and also the children within my family. And yeah, they're the mind virus that has impregnated the planet right now, the program fear. They're just not, it just doesn't even wash with them. They're so turned on to the truth, the real truth, and nothing but the truth. It actually physically, when you talk to my sons, it actually physically hurts their body to walk in a lie. So whether that is whether,
I think that's happening to a lot of us, but children are being born that way. I find that too. If something is being spoken about and it just feels like it's not true, it hurts. My throat feels. And so if those of you that are watching right now, if you are experiencing something like that, that means you're waking up. Like I mean, not that you can stop the evolution, but I mean, these are signs of it. Because like, if somebody starts talking about something that is hurtful to people, or is not in people's, like, as a community, as in their best interest, it actually physically hurts my body, or shuts my throat, feels like it's starting to like be squeezed shut. So these are signs, right? And I think these kids already can jump on this right away. They're not questioning, why am I feeling like this? They kind of already know it.
They already know it, and they can move through things really, really easily and simply, if allowed, if given the space to do it.
It's like Captain Caveman is trying to raise Einstein or something.
It is. But one of the things we can do as parents, or aunts, or uncles, or grannies, or whomever, or teachers, is really see the child not as their we were seen as our behavior, and we need to learn to see past behavior and into their soul essence, into their truth. And when we see a child or anybody past their behavior, then we can, it instills or sparks a compassion for that person, and we don't buy into or get stuck with their particular behavior. But our children bypass all that stuff now, and they just can't do the the lies, the social lies that are happening around right now. They just can't do it. They're walking in their truth, their sovereign selves, and we can learn a lot about that.
That's amazing. It's about almost learning to look at your children through like child raising is almost through brand new eyes. Like everything that we've been conditioned to believe to be true when it comes to raising our children, I mean, outside of like guiding them and keeping them safe, is false. We almost have to let them guide us in how to raise them and how to be present for them.
Absolutely.
Am I saying that correctly?
I believe you are. Yes. You know, and being able to see their truth and be on their side with that takes a lot of courage as a parent, because you are kind of fitting in with social norms and schools and all of that. So you kind of have to fit in, but there's so many children coming through now that it's not going to be long before, well, school is already changing. We're in loads of schools. Our mindfulness, our meditation teachers are in schools. Our yoga teachers are in schools now. I don't know what it's like in America, but in England and Wales. We
don't actually have that in Canada yet.
Right. Okay. So
I can't speak for the US, but
so
in Canada, we're still a little Stone Age here, I think.
So I think the wave is coming because we're on the crest of it here, and mindfulness and meditation is actually a part of, we've got something called Ofsted, and they go in and they check the school and make sure it's all working well, and you've got, you know, whether you're good or excellent or whatnot. And one of their criteria as of last year is mindfulness and well-being, health and well-being. So that's a major shift in consciousness in terms of our education. And as such, they're looking for experts to come in and deliver those things. So our teachers are inundated with work on that level, which is just amazing, because that's awesome. Exactly what me and my sister wanted to have happen. And it's like we've kind of pushed so much, well, not pushed, kind of birthed, you know, that birthed the people so that they were ready for this moment.
I think it's also like, I'm thinking about when I was a child. I can only speak for myself, right? But I think a lot of people can relate to this. I knew as a kid there was something different about me, right? Like I knew it. I knew I could feel things. I knew I could see things happening. I knew it. And I remember, you know, what is a parent's automatic reaction when you tell them? Because you innocently mention to your parents and it's like, no, you don't want to do that, right?
Say a prayer. If we were Catholic, so it was like, oh my God, we're going to get the exorcist.
Like, that's the devil. You don't want to do that. And it's like, so you suppress it. And then later on in life, when I finally learned to embrace it, it took me a long time to embrace it, because there was that belief of, if I do this, then I might be considered bad.
Yeah. And or you might welcome in the bad, you know, bad things can happen and all of that. But our children, you know, it's that kind of idea of like psychic ability has got, like, again, it's a label, isn't it? And it's got a lot of connotation to it.
And we all can do it.
Yeah, it's atypical. It's typical human behavior. You know, our brains, we proudly say we only use 5% of our brains. It's like, well, do you? I don't use 5%. I've upgraded.
Actually, we use our entire brain. It's exactly opposite. We actually use our entire brain.
Yeah. And
that's a myth.
Yeah.
That is a myth.
And then spreading that down and just growing that consciousness. We've got something called fascia. Have you heard of the fascia that runs all the way through? And, you know, the surgeons will just, you know, if they're doing an op, they'll just open you up and take this beautiful fascia and they'll just ditch that and then start fiddling with whatever needs to happen. And it's fascia that holds the consciousness in and memory in each human being. It's the fascia. When we, you know, like now, my fascia is tingling because of this subject matter. You know, you're in Canada, I'm in Wales, but I'm connected to you and to everybody that is watching right now. I can feel it within my fascia. And our children come in and they're super sensitive on that level, you know, and it's numbed out and conditioned out of us as we grow.
And plus with our fascia, I mean, I've done a lot of studying on fascia. So the other thing with fascia is that when children, it's all, think of fascia, for those of you that don't know that much about it, think of it like a bed sheet or saran wrap, if you will, that kind of covers everything. And as we get older, sometimes that crumples up in certain areas and it gets trapped or whatever, especially if we've been hurt, our fascia will automatically, like almost like a ball of saran wrap will start to, but kids don't have that. It's nice and smooth, like a bed sheet that you just laid out, right? So they are like completely open. There's nothing trapping anything.
And so imagine a world we're in, the family and the children, you're growing your children up with this fascia, this sense of self that is now, if it gets crinkled, you've got really beautiful tools that you can use in the moment to uncrinkle it. Yeah. Whereas what we've done is we've crinkled it up and we'll go through this lifetime and there'll be loads of kind of nodules everywhere. We'll die, we'll come back, and we're still inheriting all of that shit with us. And then we go on to the next one and go on to the next one, and then we've reached this point, and now right now we're in a major opportunity. I know it's all going down across the planet, but equally within it there's the gold, and the gold is that healing of not just individuals but on the collective consciousness, that we can smooth out our fascias for generations to come, you know, and then our children are growing up without that baggage. I mean, can you imagine the world?
You know, just having this conversation, and please feel free to ask questions. Patricia, this is our question time. So if you that are listening have any questions, we're watching the chat for your questions. But the one thing I will say is, and the one thing I've always said to everyone, you know, I'm a coach too, but the one thing is we need to take a whole body approach. Right. And this actually proves that. So a lot of people will go for either talk therapy, or they'll simply meditate, do some spiritual and holistic spiritual work, or they will work on their bodies and do body therapy and different body modalities to truly heal, to truly get to the next level. You must work on all of it. It has to be a whole being approach, because if you're just working on the body or just working on the mind, or only 2 of the 3 or 4 things that you should be working on, it's seriously is like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. It will continue to bleed. So you need to be thinking about your healing or your moving forward, or whatever you want to call it, as a whole body. What am I doing for my body? What am I doing for my fascia? What am I doing for my mind? What am I doing for my brain? What am I doing for my thought process, for my subconscious, for my programming? What am I doing for, you know, just my choices, my decisions? So you really have to think about things on a full on, like whole, like if you're fixing your house and there's broken pieces of your house, you're renovating a house, you don't just fix the roof and hope that, you know, the leaks in the basement are not going to affect anything. Right? You need to do that whole thing. And I think you just mentioning about this fascia today is just one more thing that says, hey, there's this other piece you have to look at, the meridians, the fascia, all these different things that matter. And that's why I love IAUSM, because we've got all the teachers that can do all of these things.
Exactly. You know, you've got it all under one roof. And as I was thinking this morning about this, the image of Noah's Ark came up. And it was like, you've created like a Noah's Ark really that is there, and it kind of, it's kind of like, it's a sanctuary. It's a place of learning. You've got masters and teachers from all around the planet bringing in like their energetic work, their physical work, their emotional work, their body work, their fascia work, their business work. And it's like a place to save humanity's consciousness, really, isn't it? You know, to up level on all levels.
And to be there, because we are going through a huge change. I mean, think about it. At some point they say that we were amoebas, and look at us now, right? So we're changing again. And to have support in that is a good thing. And to let everybody know that You are not alone, actually, at all. You can't even be alone if you try to be. Like there's no alone.
There is no alone. And this, over this last 16 months, I mean, I've been working for over, well, just coming up to 20 years, and it's been unprecedented amount of people waking up to themselves and going and just having, on any level, just having that space to go, hang on, what is it? Why am I here? Who am I? What's the reason? And then waking up to themselves. I've had loads of people coming through, more so than ever before. And that makes me tingle, because tipping point in terms of consciousness, we've reached that. We've definitely on two different timelines here, the fear timeline or the love timeline, if you want to just make it simple. And
I think fear is starting up out the window. Like,
oh yeah, it's like we're just totally vibrating in the love frequency on all of those levels, and learning
love. We love that. Before we go, I want to talk about, we've got two things that we're offering. One of them is a loot bag that everyone's going to be getting who attends IAUSM. Attends this webinar, but for everyone who is actually registering in IAUSM, we're giving them, within the first 2 weeks of them registering of IAUSM, they will be getting a bonus package that's a collection of a lot of wonderful gifts from a number of our faculty, and you have a bonus package. So you're part of that bonus package, and it's called the 12 Strands of DNA Activation. Can you give us a little lowdown of what you're getting?
Yeah, so on the 12th of the 12th last year, before the 12th of the 12th, it came in really thick and fast and strong that I received this kind of 12 strands of DNA activation quest, if you like. And so, yeah, I'm giving that over. You can expect like rapid spiritual growth, soul alignment to your higher purpose, manifestation, and also that sense of inspiration and creation happens a lot quicker. So it's one activation of 8. There's going to be a box set. If you like that one, there's a box set that's going up to IAUSM, which also then activates the next 12 strands of DNA, and also removes the J seals and any implants from the various bodies, your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical bodies. So by the end of it, you'll have 24 strands online of pure human DNA that have not been mucked about with in any level. And so, yeah, I'm offering that.
That's awesome. So you'll be getting that bonus package.
Yeah, just basically put your headphones on, shut your eyes, lie back, and then receive. That's all you need to do with that.
The people who register for IAUSM. So that's not part of the loot bag. That's part of the bonus package for registering for IAUSM. So if I was gonna, I'm not a big fan of putting dollars on people, because I feel like that's so 3D. But if you were going to put a value on this little bonus, what would you think what would you throw on it?
Oh, well, yeah, you're looking at, so we charge $875 for that alone.
So you're paying $99 to be a part of IAUSM to get, and just getting this by itself is, there you go. So, and we have so many more that come in, so much more that's coming. Thank you so much, Patricia. I love everything that you've offered to IAUSM and all the beautiful courses you have and all the beautiful courses that you're bringing in, and just your light. Like, I just love your energy, and I'm so glad that I met you. And without IAUSM, I don't know if I would have. So everything happens for a reason, and I'm so glad that you're part of this. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you from the depths of my soul. Thank you.
Wow, was that amazing or what? She's awesome. Like, that is how she is all the time. She's so amazing. So she has so much to share, and just this beautiful soul, and just one of our amazing teachers at IAUSM.